It's spring in the San Joaquin Valley, and already the fields are shimmering in the heat, still in the grip of what's being called a millennial drought. For the fourth year in a row, the Sierra snowpack is minimal, and reservoirs and wells are drying up. But what's headline news for most Californians is old news for farmers like Don Cameron, who have grappled for decades with how best to preserve the state's most precious resource.
Water is the lifeblood of our work here, and everything we do requires water to grow. We learned a long time ago how precious water was to us in our farming operation, and we started looking for different ways that we could be more efficient with our water use.
At Terra Nova Ranch, Cameron oversees the cultivation of as many as 30 crops on 7,500 acres. About a third is devoted to tomatoes, a crop which provides a good example of how farming practices have evolved in recent years.
Years ago, we used to use direct seed, and then we'd come in and sprinkle irrigate until the plant got established. Now we use transplants, and we save water, especially since we switched to drip irrigation. Every row we have here has a drip irrigation tape buried about 7 inches deep that provides water, provides fertilizer. We found not only that it saved us quite a bit of water, but it increased the production. So essentially we get more pounds of tomato per gallon of water. If we don't use drip irrigation, we are using very high efficiency sprinkler irrigation. We've taken the time and the expense to convert all of these sprinkler heads to a high efficiency, very uniform type of sprinkler head that will make a uniform application of the water on here so that we can measure exactly how much water we're putting and only put enough on for the crop that we're growing here.
Elsewhere on the ranch, Cameron points out another feature which shows how dramatically irrigation practices have changed since the old days.
Well, this was a canal that was all part of a flood irrigation system. We used to fill this with water. We have little gates along here that would open up and flood out into the field to irrigate the crops that we grew then. We've become much more efficient in our water usage since then.
In dry years, groundwater serves as a critical buffer against the impact of drought. With the depletion of these resources, sustainable groundwater management has become a high priority. In this too, Cameron takes the long view, looking beyond the drought and conducting an innovative study in groundwater banking.
I've been working for over 25 years to implement a groundwater recharge program on the farm here. We're essentially bringing floodwater off the North Fork of the Kings River that flows right behind our farm when it does flow, and putting that on some of the various crops that we grow. We've shown that we can flood wine grapes for several months with no detrimental effect, and it's a really innovative way of recharging our groundwater.
Cameron is careful not to downplay the challenges presented by the drought, but he remains optimistic about the long-term benefits of the changes that it demands from growers.
This is probably the toughest period that I face as a farmer, but we feel that hopefully there'll be additional technology that we can implement for the future and just better farming techniques. I think the new world ahead is going to be for those that embrace technology and embrace new cropping patterns. I don't like being told you can't do something. I hope we can always find an answer and a better way to do whatever we do here.